Welcome to week 5. This is an overview of the content that we'll be talking about this week. So when I'm through talking about it, I will insert the link at the top so that when you open it, you'll have a place to go and listen to this. Okay, looking at the sheet of overarching concepts, adolescent literature, overarching concepts, we are now on Roman numeral 6, books. Last week we talked about the last of the trends and literary terms and themes that promote higher level thinking, and we talked about Bloom's taxonomy. And we talked about letter A, finding books using an interest inventory, reading interest inventory, whatever they call it, and the 2 principles of age and gender. So now we're going to talk about B, evaluating books, C, using books, D, introducing and reinforcing books, and E, taking a look. We'll save F for next week. That's kind of a big one, long one. But we'll cover B through E. Okay. Speaking of B through E, B is evaluating books. You have already read Best Books, the principles that they have, the guidelines for choosing books. So I want you to go over that again. There's a reason for that. And as you do that, I want you to use your notes, your journal entry. And if you have to look back, that's fine too. But go ahead and fill out the guidelines for choosing books. I think I already said somewhere, I know I said it somewhere, that there are just a few minor changes between what is in my best books and what is on that sheet of notes. You'll also have a verse chart, and this is under the collaborations tab. Trying something new here. I hope this works. In the past, we've had this chart, and we have paired up in class, students, and divided up the verses. And then each group did a section of the verse chart, and then we got together and filled in everybody else's and discussed them as we needed to. So I'm going to divide the verses up, have you look up your section, and give a summary of the verse. If you want to write it out or write part of it out, that would be in the middle column. And then in the column on the right, what I want you to do is make an application that would be specific to our class or for reading in general. So then you can post that on the collaborations tab or the section there, and the rest of the class can enter theirs and we'll have a complete chart. When you're through with that, there is a magic square. I don't know if you've ever used one of these before, and this is to help you review some of the terms that you had in Best Books. And there's an article that I would like you to read called Brownies with a Difference. So that would be the section of evaluating books. Then letter C, using books. I don't know if you can notice that there is like a change of font. The color has changed, the size has changed. It stands out, I hope. It's right in the middle of the page, and it catches people's attention. For some reason, that might be an indication that this is important. I've narrated this sheet. It's a file that you'll find with the rest of the materials for this week's content. And I've narrated something to go over that. There is a lot of overlapping, kind of see the same thing several places. There's a reason for that, and you might want to take that into account as you're working through the material for this week. So the big ideas for teaching lit, fill in the chart or the sheet that has the triangle at the top. Actually, that's a sieve, okay, the sieve at the top, and then the 3 big ideas. And also on that sheet, we have introducing and reinforcing books. To go along with that, there is a PowerPoint that I used to use in class. I broke it apart. It was too long, so it's now in 4 parts. And you have a sheet in your notes that is the outline that goes along with that PowerPoint. So it's probably a whole lot easier to have that outline printed off, and you might want to add a few things to it, but for the most part it's complete. There might be a couple notes that you could add, and then listen to the 4 parts of the PowerPoint and make sure you understand that material. There's another sheet that goes along with this. It's from The English Companion by Jim Burke. Taking a look, you have some more information that you've seen before in this lesson, but it's just stated a different way. Making Connections is a sheet that I had from a class that I took, and so you can look at that. Book discussion questions seem like a good place to put that. I think these questions are helpful as you're either having a class discussion, but also you can use these for journaling too. Assign one of these questions or 2 for students to journal on. So that's another list that might be helpful. I think there was a typo at the bottom, the last one, so I'm sorry about that. I apologize. It should be what didn't you like about the story. Okay, and then the last 2 things, again, they're in the for what it's worth category. When I taught middle school, junior high, the standing assignment was every Wednesday they read. And at the beginning of the hour, actually, they had to write what page they were on, book, the title, the author. And so at the end of the hour, they would write the page that they were on, so I could tell how much they had accomplished. They would keep this in the front of their notebook, and I would check to see how much they had read and kept track of their reading that way. So that's the reading log. Then the reading check is a sheet that a teacher that I subbed for would have her students fill out. And you can see the questions there. I did use that a little bit, but I thought it took a long time for the students to fill that out. So what I usually resorted to when I was doing a long-term sub assignment was to take a 3x5 card and have them write the title, author, and the pages that they read during that class period, and then to give me a brief summary. And then I would collect those 3x5 cards and keep track of their reading that way. Well, we are on week 5 of 7, and the last week will mainly be focusing on our final exam, the book list, which I'd like to know how you're doing on that, if you haven't told me already, and your journal. And then, of course, this week you have a journal assignment that you're going to turn in. So with next week, it'll pretty much be wrapping up our content, and it'll be the last 2 books that we have to do to read. So we are nearing the end. If there's anything I can do to make this be more practical, helpful, understandable, if there's any suggestion that you could give me, that would be appreciated. So God bless you as you do your work for this week, as well as all the other things that I know that you're keeping busy with work and ministry. So I don't take that for granted, and I do pray for you and hope that things are going well, and looking forward to our next week.